The rise of the MAGA governors, maybe. Well, MAGA politicians at the state level anyway. That's what we're starting to see now with Vivek announcing in Ohio, something very, very interesting happening in Florida. Also, Alec Baldwin finally snapped on an influencer. I know he's snapped before, but this is a little bit different this time. I think you may feel the same. This may be the first time ever, for me personally anyway, on this or back in radio world, in real life, whatever it is, actually defending Alec Baldwin. Because I think he was 100% right in this case. And I'll go so far as to say this may be the incident, because it's a big viral story now, how this guy got in his face and blah, blah, blah. This may be the one that turns public opinion on the side of Alec Baldwin. I didn't think it was possible after the whole Russ thing. I really, truly didn't. We got that to talk about, as well as Dan Bongino, the new deputy director of the FBI, dropping a very big hint of what we could expect out of that department. Because it's fantastic, because Dan still has his show. You want to talk about transparency. So we've got people in the administration now, a couple of them, it's not just Dan, who actually have podcasts and live shows and live streams we can actually see in real time, because they can't stop dropping hints what we can expect out of these departments. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, it's great stuff. And sadly, we lost Roberta Flack yesterday. Great soul, R&B, pop, rock singer. Rock, too. And of all things, we can thank Clint Eastwood for her becoming a household name. We can thank Clint for a lot of things, including this one with Roberta Flack. I had no idea. As long as I was in music radio, I never heard this story until it came out yesterday, sadly, with her passing. But anyways, let's get to it. A lot to talk about. Let's get rid of some business first. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio here in the live stream on X, and YouTube, and on Facebook, and you audio podcast listeners. We're live every day if you want to hang out with us. Comments are open as well. And the audio podcast, if everything's with me, the algorithm, the wind, if the sun is in the right direction, everything, this is posted on your favorite audio podcast platform as well, usually just about 9 a.m. Eastern time, right after the live stream show, all right? Let's get to it. They're calling this V for Ohio. The V, possibly maybe victory. We'll see how it all shakes out. He's leading the polls so far, but the V right now stands for Vivek. Vivek Ramaswamy. We all know him well. We know him from the campaign. He was supposed to co-head Doge with Elon, despite the fake news that said there was a big falling out in that department. I don't think that's really true, because he just received an endorsement from Elon and President Trump for the governor's race, the gubernatorial race in the state of Ohio, and he announced it last night. It sounded like this.
I am honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio.
It's a perfect choice for him, I would say. It really is. He wants to make a difference. He is, one consistent thing with Vivek throughout the entire campaign was he made it a point to refer back to and really try to stump for his home state of Ohio. He was a Cincinnati guy, born and raised before he went into the biotech industry, became an investor, an entrepreneur. He always stuck up for Ohio. He's always very proud of his Buckeye roots. It's perfect for him, really. It really is. I think it's going to be perfect. I think the guy's going to win in a landslide. That's just my opinion. But there's something more important happening here for everybody else outside of Ohio and the rest of us in the country, and we're starting to see it now. You can call it a trickle-down effect? Maybe. I guess. But it's really a progression of things to go. Now, the talk over the past couple of weeks has been, hey, we love this Doge effort to clean up waste, to get rid of waste and corruption and inefficiency and trim the fat out of the federal government. The people have started to ask the question, well, how about at the state level? Are we going to have Doge departments in the states? Now, a couple of states, and I'll throw Florida into that mix as well. I think Glenn Youngkin, too, in Virginia, done a pretty good job cleaning up their state roles and trimming away the fat and the bureaucracy. But is that going to be a trend going forward? You can call it trickle down. Maybe. But that doesn't start until you get guys like that. What I would have to say is definitely, he's definitely MAGA. I mean, listen. Go back to when Vivek was actually announcing. Remember before he had to drop out and fully endorsed the Trump team? Ramaswamy, to make a name for himself. I mean, you want to talk about radical. He was the guy that said on the debate stage, I want to get rid of all of them. I don't want to just clean up waste. I want to get rid of these departments. Get rid of the alphabet departments. He just wanted to completely eliminate the IRS and the CIA and the FBI. That was like, whoa. But that was to make a name for himself. But now he's a guy who wants to, you can be sure, enact the same kind of policies for the state of Ohio. Watch for this to happen in other states as well. And it starts with the Trump campaign, Trump-endorsed America First MAGA candidates closer to the local level. Case in point, KC DeSantis. This is fascinating. Now, also through that very impactful and consequential campaign, Governor Ron DeSantis became a national figure. We've known him for, in my state of Florida, we've known him for quite some time. Winning twice now, the gubernatorial race here. He's done a great job in Florida. Most would agree. When he dared run against Trump, Trump wasn't too happy about that. When he put his name into the hat before he had to drop out, Trump was not, there was a falling out there before they patched things up again. Because before that happened, you might remember he was, Governor Ron, he's my guy. I love this guy. But when that happened, we all know how Trump is. You don't run against him. Doesn't appreciate that too much. Well, seems to be back in good graces. Or is he? This is fascinating to watch. DeSantis can't run again for governor. He's probably, a lot of people are saying that he's going to probably try to get the senator seat. Maybe Rick Scott will go away, run for Congress again at the national level. Who the heck knows? Listen to Casey DeSantis, Ron's wife, who by all intents, I've interviewed her once. Very nice lady. She's also a cancer survivor. Very brave fight there. Tell me when you listen to this, this isn't a person throwing her hat into the ring to run in this governor's race, because this sure sounds like it.
You have to lead. You have to have courage. You have to show that our way works. You enact bold policies and you hold yourself accountable. Because if we do this, we will continue to be a model for the nation, we will be a beacon of hope for the world, and we will continue to stay the free state of Florida.
Okay, I've heard that now 3 times isolated. And this is why I like to play the audio, not just the visual, so you can really concentrate on it, because things are different when you hear it. Okay, that's a campaign speech. I'm sorry. Now I'm absolutely convinced. I was thinking that before. Now I'm 100% convinced that's a campaign speech, not an official announcement. Her hat isn't in the ring yet, but boy, it sounds like it's coming. Now, this is fascinating on a number of levels. We'll get to the personal level here in just a second. You may know the name Byron Donalds, also a MAGA guy who Trump loves. He is a congressman out of Southwest Florida, Sarasota area. Now, he's also the name that's being considered for this race in Florida for the gubernatorial race that's coming up. Very big name, very popular. Seems like a great guy. I don't know officially yet, but I'm about 90% sure that that's the guy who Trump would endorse, Byron Donalds. Whether he likes it or not, DeSantis is somebody that Trump is really going to need going forward here. And this was percolating a little bit up before they patched things up in the presidential race. Trump was taking shots at him because he felt that it was a disloyal thing that Ron was running. And then they patched things up again. Okay, what if you have not only DeSantis running against Trump's handpicked guy for the governor's race? What if you had DeSantis' wife running against Trump's handpicked guy in the governor's race in the state of Florida? What happens then? I don't think Trump would shy away from, let's say, taking shots at Casey DeSantis just to be respectful. He's got nothing to lose. I don't think he would mind that. But he would 100% endorse Byron Donalds. Now I'm convinced. I was at 90 before. Now I'm 100% convinced he would endorse Byron Donalds to run against her if that comes to pass. Now, here's the other fascinating part of it. And I know you're thinking it. I know you are, especially you married guys. I can feel your thoughts coming into my head right now. You can't say it out loud, especially with your significant other right now. I'll say it for you. Boy, my first thought was Ron is he's getting out of the way on this one. What if this is the case where Casey DeSantis, it's her idea to run? Maybe it wasn't the Republican Party of Florida. Maybe it wasn't Ron. Maybe it's Casey really making the case, pun intended, to run for this job. What if you're Ron DeSantis? Because every man has to make this choice if you've got a working spouse or significant other or partner. Everybody has to face this at one point in time. Okay. Maybe politically, maybe for my career, that's not the best thing to happen. But I have a life to live. I love this woman. We have children together. We have a life together. I need to support her as best I can. I know I'm joking about this, but we need to consider this fact. Ron DeSantis is in a very, very prickly situation here. He has to handle this very delicately. Wow, there's one thing to work together with your wife. I do, and I love her. But boy, to do it on a public stage like that, this is going to be fascinating to watch going forward here. But again, the takeaway is it's starting. It didn't take too long either. At the local state level, you're starting to see, if you call it the trickle-down effect, go ahead, the MAGA-endorsed or MAGA-created politicians having an effect at the local level. And it's fascinating to watch. Unbelievable. This is fascinating, too. So the big news yesterday and coming out of the weekend was Dan Bongino officially picked to be the deputy director of the FBI. Incredible. Dan's background, by the way, is incredible. Not just, I think a lot of us got to know him, as a podcaster in the Dan Bongino show. Very successful. He's great at it, so he's got the communication skills. You know him as a Secret Service agent in the really coming out of the Clinton administration. Boys, he have some stories about Hillary. Fascinating. You've got that as well. He has 2 higher education degrees, 2 advanced degrees. He's got this amazing ability. He's an incredible guy, very accomplished. I don't think you're going to find anybody more patriotic than Dan Bongino. And now you've got this fascinating thing. We've got people in the administration. He's not the only one, because he's not going to stop doing the Dan Bongino show, which is great news for all of us if you're a fan of Dan like I am. Now you've got a guy in the administration who can talk about what's going on. And he's already done it about what the plan is going forward in the FBI, working directly with and under Kash Patel. And it's a fascinating thing. You want to talk about transparency that we all wanted this in this administration? What if you have people who are directly involved in it talking every day in a podcast and a show and a live stream? That's just not handpicked and edited interviews. This is like their raw emotion coming out, talking about what they're working on. And it's already started. So this is a clip from a couple of days ago where Dan dropped a huge hint, an awesome hint about what's coming with the FBI. This is the day that he was officially announced to be picked as the deputy director. And he's telling you right out what they're going to do. It's great news for the FBI. It's really great news for the field agents that have been under this ridiculous leadership for years, right? The real working folks, the great agents of the FBI. And it's bad news for Adam Schiff. He went off on this guy, on Adam Schiff, being the architect of both Russia collusion hoaxes. And this is the big hint that Dan dropped about what they're going to do about it.
It's kind of a big freaking deal. I'm not letting it go. And you listen to me. This is going to be very important in the coming days. I'm not letting this go.
You have to love that. I absolutely. And so, well, first of all, politically, going after Adam Schiff, who's an absolute crook. And Kash Patel has said it, too, in many interviews leading up to him becoming the new director of the FBI. There's never been a bigger crook in Congress than Adam Schiff. I mean, he said it. So the guy that's now the director of the FBI and the deputy director of the FBI, both of them saying that Adam Schiff is a criminal. How's Adam Schiff handling this today? We'll find out, but that's amazing. My favorite part of this, we've got very influential people who are actually doing the work to improve our life on a day-to-day basis and make this country safer, talking about it on live streams and podcasts as it happens in real time. This is fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, now this is a little bit, I know I'm not the guy you come to for celebrity stuff. I totally get that because celebrity stuff just isn't my thing until something flips around. Been no fan of Alec Baldwin. I think he got off scot-free of the whole Rust incident where that poor girl, the cinematographer, was killed, and it was just awful. And he's had meltdowns before. We all know it. Going back, oh my God, was it 15? Was it 20 years ago? Remember remember they caught him on a phone call conversation on the voicemail. You little pig. You know, he's got the temper. We all know that. And Alec Baldwin is Alec Baldwin, talented guy. We all know that. Still did one of the best Trump impersonations of all time on SNL, and they would bring him back and on 30 Rock. I'm no fan of his in general, and I'm still not. But I can't help defend him in this case. And tell me you wouldn't do the same thing. Because when I first read the headline, and this was everywhere, and the video was everywhere, it's got millions and millions of views and hits. I get that. Because some stupid influencer, I don't even know his name, whatever it is, by the way, a pretty bad Trump impersonation, confronts him in New York, luggage in hand. I think they were either getting into the car or getting out of the car, whatever. It's their residence. He's confronted by this dope and this moron. And when I first read the headline, it's Alec Baldwin snaps again, finally has enough, threatens violence. Well, in these kinds of cases, to judge somebody like that, especially when they're a celebrity, you got to put yourself in their shoes for just a little bit. Wouldn't you do the same thing? And when I heard his reaction, you see it in person. Even though his words were kind of threatening, I think Alec Baldwin was kind of calm, given all the circumstances that we have to deal with here. And here's how it went.
Let me ask a question.
Sure.
No, you realize, by the
Whoa.
way. No, look at me. I want you to
Yeah,
look at me.
sure.
You got a camera on me here?
The ring. No, it's the ring.
But you realize my kids live in this building, right? But I want you to know something.
We love the children. We're doing great deals for the children.
So be real careful.
Okay.
If this camera wasn't here, I'd snap your in half and break your right out. You know that, don't you?
Okay. All right, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, ladies and gentlemen, class act. Believe me.
Here's why I think it works. Because he said, and he was right, his children are there within view. They might have even been on the step of the brownstone. I don't know. This was in New York. If your family's involved, I can't help but think Alec Baldwin is 100% justified in saying, if they weren't here, because you're here, and if they couldn't see me and were in plain sight, I'd snap your freaking neck. Well, honestly, I'm okay with that. And knowing what we know about public opinion, and everybody loves a comeback story. Do you think this is enough to turn public opinion back towards Alec Baldwin's side? I really think it does. This isn't having the effect that I think a lot of the tabloid outlets thought it would. Oh, he snapped again. He's done it again. Well, you're confronted, which happens all the time as a celebrity. I get it. It comes with the job, I'm sure. I imagine it does. Who the heck knows? It's not my world. You're confronted all the time. But then you're confronted by this D-bag, dressed up as Trump, doing a really bad impersonation of him as well. And you get in his face, and while he's trying to have family time. Yeah, the first time ever in my personal history, I'm on Alec Baldwin's side because he's justified in this. And you know what? He's even justified in saying, you know what? I'd snap your freaking neck. Good for him. Because he didn't yell at him. And it wasn't a meltdown either, by the way. And Alec Baldwin didn't snap. He very calmly said that and then walked away. I find nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Court of public opinion? No. I'm on Alec's side in that one for sure. I have another celebrity story for you. It's kind of a sad one because we're losing some of these legends. Roberta Flack, great lady. I mean, you know her from Killing Me Softly was her biggest hit. I think she won a Grammy for that, I think. She was also, the one that put her on the map, though, was her song, The First Time I Saw Your Face. You probably heard it. Sadly, we lost her yesterday. She was a legendary performer. She was 88. I don't know what the cause of death was, but, you know, good long life, great career. Influenced a lot of other people, too, and she did a lot of duets with people. For as many years as I was in music radio and played Killing Me Softly, it's the Fugees version that was like mixed into it, millions of times, I swear to God. But I never heard this story about Roberta Flack. We can thank Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry, for a lot of things. A lot of great movies. Maybe most of all, he put Roberta Flack on the map with his movie, Play Misty for Me. I had never heard this story before. This is from a couple of years ago, and somebody brilliant dug this up just yesterday about Clint and Roberta telling the story on why this song became such a hit. It was when he put it in the movie, because it was already out there. This was the one that really put her on the map.
The song was out there, it had been out there, and every now and then you'd hear it on the radio, but it did not have the wide acceptance until people could associate something visual with it.
I wanted to do a nice idyllic scene where he was sort of reconciling with the girlfriend. I heard the Roberta Flack song on the radio, and I said, oh yeah, this tells the story.
Here's the great thing, though. This is why we should thank Clint Eastwood for really getting her into the public eye. He called her at her mom's house, I guess in Virginia, made that whole pitch, explained it, and she said no. She said no. I don't know. I don't think that would be good for my career, Clint. I'm sorry. Thanks for calling me and everything. But he finally talked her into it, and the rest, as they say, is history. So, legendary lady, and Clint is a legend for doing that. Another thing we need to thank him for. And I thank you for finding me and hanging out. I'm out of material, so I'm out of here. But thanks for finding the podcast, as always. The live stream, as always, on X and YouTube and Facebook. And the audio podcast, as always, wherever you prefer to get them. Your favorite podcast platform on iHeart or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. which usually after 9 a.m. Eastern time, it posts right there. So first takeaway, number one, celebrity or not, somebody gets in your face and you handle it like Alec Baldwin did. I have no criticism of that whatsoever. In fact, it's a pretty good takeaway. You can calmly tell somebody you're going to snap their neck as long as you do it calmly. It's all about the tone, right? Absolutely. And I guess that bleeds into this too, like we always say. Don't ever take any crap from anybody. Have a wicked awesome Tuesday. We'll see what's going on for tomorrow. We'll cover it. We'll talk to you then.